This is the 2021 virtually adapted SAGIC convention. Special mention and thanks to all our partners and sponsors who made this event possible. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing your MC, Mr. Paul Vonk.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. A warm welcome, at last, to the annual SAGIC convention incorporating the 2021 SANA and SALI conferences and awards ceremony. We're sorry if we are a few minutes behind time, but this is unavoidable. In a few moments, the SAGIC chairperson and the SANA president will kickstart this 22nd SAGIC convention by ringing the SAGIC and SANA bells, respectively. The sound of the bells signals the opening of convention, and the next time you will hear the bells will signify the closing of convention, and that is usually at the culmination of the gala dinner, which is replaced today by a glittering award ceremony later this afternoon. The SANA bell is a standard solid brass bell introduced in 2009, and the SAGIC bell was introduced in 2005 with an explosion of indoor pyrotechnics for theatrical effect. It is an orchestral tubular bell tuned to E-flat. In fact, it's very definitely E-flat minor by now, having suffered several dents after being transported all over the country since 2005. As always, it's ladies first, and we cross to SAGIC chairperson Honorary van der Westhuizen, who will ring the SAGIC bell with what looks like a huge cricket mallet in her hands. And back to me for the SANA bell. Ladies and gentlemen, what an incredible year. Who would ever have imagined that we would be entering a second winter under curfew and lockdown conditions? After the amazing gardening explosion last year, resulting in the most successful business year in living memory for many of our members, and for which we offer our grateful thanks. I'm Paul Vonk, and it is my pleasure to be your MC today for this, our second intergalactic green industry journey, presenting the annual SAGIC, SANA, and SALI convention and awards. These awards are broadcast on platforms including Facebook Live and YouTube. So whether you're a member of the public to have found us, or perhaps a member of our Global International Garden Center Association, or ordinary members of SANA, SALI, and SAGIC, we wish you a traditional top of the morning and a very warm welcome. This is also a 21st birthday. SAGIC turns 21 today. The first properly constituted SAGIC convention was held 21 years ago in the year 2000. So technically, this is party number 22. But either way, SAGIC has truly come of age. SALI celebrates 37 years since incorporation in 1984, and SANA turns 74, with our first meeting having been held in Bloemfontein in 1947. Together, we celebrate an incredible 132 years of association activity, steeped in tradition and history. We have an exciting program lined up this morning. We begin with a quick update from all three associations with a welcome address from the chairpersons and president of SAGIC, SALI, and SANA. And this is followed by the green industry feedback from umbrella association SAGIC. We honor our fallen in a presentation we call In Memoriam, and then we move to our convention highlight, our keynote speaker, Brand Pretorius. This will take us approximately to 11:35, I think. We're about an hour behind schedule before we break away for our association AGMs. We then return to this platform at 2 o'clock for the awards ceremony this afternoon. Are you ready for this, ladies and gentlemen? Sit back, relax, and enjoy the morning with us. Ladies and gentlemen, none of this would have been possible without our generous industry sponsors. You've seen all the brands and logos on screen during the intro. So to all the sponsors, on behalf of all of us, a most sincere thank you to the 2021 SANA Star and Diamond sponsors and our SAGIC sponsor partners. We applaud your continued generous and loyal support, especially during this crazy pandemic. Your attention, please, for a word from our sponsors.
Refresh your garden with the Bark Unlimited range of top quality organic products. Bark Unlimited Organics. Refresh nature.
Now you can enhance the beauty of your garden by using Mayford seeds with a full range of vegetables, flowers, herbs and lawn grasses. Mayford seed packs are hermetically sealed and date stamped, ensuring a quality product that you can trust. To grow your own vegetables, herbs, flowers and lawn, explore our seed stand at any leading retailer for sheer inspiration. Mayford Quality Seeds, the leading brand.
Hunter Industries is a family-owned global company that provides high-quality, efficient solutions for irrigation and outdoor lighting. A diverse range of products can be seen everywhere, from residential landscapes to stadiums, national landmarks, theme parks, city parks, commercial complexes, hotels, and municipal buildings around the world. Whether you're from New York, Shanghai, Sydney, Paris or Cape Town, the odds are you've probably encountered Hunter product somewhere along the
way. Wonder provides gardeners with a mindful, forward-thinking, long-term approach to their gardens. Our solutions work from the depths of the soil to the tips of the leaves, keeping plants healthy and strong. Wonder for the love of gardening. Whether you need to control aphids on lemons, pesky lawn pests, thrips on roses, or weeds in paving, Effecto has you covered. Effecto by name, effective by nature.
How do we measure our hopes and dreams, our vision, our plans for the future, and our knowledge of the past? We see our dreams become a reality and our hopes turn into happiness. That is how we help South Africa grow. Bigger, stronger, and better. Atlantic Fertilizers. Growth you can measure.
Thank you once again to our generous sponsors, ladies and gentlemen. It now gives me great pleasure to introduce SAGIC Chairperson Annemarie van der Westhuizen for the SAGIC Welcome Address.
Good morning, everybody, friends and colleagues. Welcome at the SAGIC Convention. At last year's virtual awards function, we'll meet again this year. But of course, none of us had any idea that this pandemic would still be determining our actions. Although this year's convention didn't work out as planned, the organizing committee felt that doing the awards function virtually again would be the best option at this stage. And thank you for all the hard work that has gone in behind the scenes. While we find new ways to survive, we hear daily of friends and families that have lost someone close to them to this unthinkable disease, and our hearts go out to them. We are in the midst of the third wave, and we don't know how many more waves there will be, but we are keeping our heads up high and taking everything in our stride. Although this year will again not be the same as years before, we've all adapted in some way, and we are making the best of what life presents us. We see the industry slowly regaining momentum, and although not fully recovered, we believe it will go from strength to strength. As you would see when looking at this year's program, the ceremony is taken up a notch compared to last year. Enjoy the sessions with us. Congratulations to all the award recipients, and I sincerely hope we'll be able to see each other soon at the future SAGIC conventions.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Annemarie. We now cross to Cape Town to SALI Chairperson Nora de Wet for the SALI Welcome Address, pre-recorded earlier on video. Take it away, Nora.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to thank SAGIC for providing this forum that allows us to host this event. And on behalf of SALI, I'd like to welcome everybody and thank you for attending. We will be holding the SALI AGM shortly. If the SALI members could ensure you have your links so that you can join us and get feedback on the past year. And then later in the program, we will be presenting the Trophy Awards and after that, the National Shield Award. The Trophy Award is really a culmination of the Awards of Excellence, where a principal member is chosen in a particular category as an overall winner. And then from that pool, the National Shield Award, which is the one and only sort of award that is the pinnacle of the awards, is presented to one principal member. So we hope to see you at the AGM and at the award events. And I'd just like to thank all the regional and the national judge who were involved in the evaluation, and of course to our sponsors whose support is greatly appreciated. I hope you all enjoy the day, and we look forward to seeing you later on in the day at the various events. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Nora. And now it gives me great pleasure to present the SANA Welcome Address. It is a distinct honor to serve the ExCo and members of SANA and to welcome you all here today on their behalf. And what an absolute pleasure it is to collaborate with our industry partners at SALI and SAGIC and to serve on Chairman William Webb's Convention Committee. We work on this committee because it's a huge amount of fun and we enjoy it. My grateful thanks to the SANA contingent on the team, William and Mccaarthy, ably supported by Wendy, and with budgetary guidance from Peter Runkle. And especially to you, William, for leading this green industry team with drive and passion. We place a high value on our collaboration with all of our green industry partners as we focus on business together this morning and stand stronger together as an industry as we honor and congratulate the performance excellence of all the worthy recipients in the awards ceremony later this afternoon. So, it's business before pleasure, I'm sure you agree, along with recognition, gratitude, and thanksgiving for the gardening explosion many of our members benefited from this year. So, a very warm welcome to each and every one of you, and I would say let the games begin. We are now going to cross to Anna-Marie for green industry feedback from SAGIC.
Okay, as SAGIC won't be hosting an AGM this year, we thought it would be a good idea just to give you some kind of feedback of what we've done. So just again, who our members are. So SAGIC is the umbrella body in the green industry. So our members are the Cape Green Forum, UPASA, ILASA, the Turf Grass Management Association of Gauteng, SALI, SANA, and SABI. And we are always looking for new members to join us. You are welcome to contact us if you feel you want to be part of us. So what happened in this year, we drafted a new constitution and a MOI signed off in August last year with a lot of input from our board. We also had to some changes to the directives and the responsibilities with subcommittees. The subcommittees that we started as the Operations and Chairperson Committee, Finances, Membership, Projects and Marketing, and Communication. And between that, we also have a big involvement with the Agri-CETA. On the director side, we changed to 4 directors, which is myself as a chairperson, Idemarie Strydom, and Paul Fonk and Di Goodwin as the rest of the directors, and our acting vice chairperson at this stage is Idemarie Strydom. Our aims and objectives, I just thought it would be a good idea to tell you a bit about it as it's in the new constitution. So it is to promote the inter-association networking and communication, to promote business-to-business networking and communication, to promote industry to public exposure, to promote best practice within the industry segments, to promote the industry to government through communication and lobbying, and to facilitate issues of national interest pertaining to the green industry, for example, education, training, marketing, and legislation. So we are always looking for opportunities to see if we can achieve our objectives. You might have seen that we are we try to be visible on social media. So up to now, we've got a total page. The page likes as today was 3,000, and our followers is 3,322. So if you haven't liked our Facebook page yet, please do that so you can see what's happening in SAGIC. Also on the social media side, we also have a Twitter account where we send out information. On the Agri-CETA side, we were quite busy with qualification developments. The current qualification that's being developed, that's sort of in the process of submission, is the landscape design qualification, and we're also waiting for the Agri-CETA for feedback on how to develop the landscape irrigation qualification. Other activities with the Agri-CETA is that we participate on the subsector skills committee. We provide input into the horticultural subsector skills plan. We develop learning material as and when necessary. We participate in any relevant qualification development meetings. And we also did some research for the Agri-CETA, and the outcome was published last year, and there will this year also be a second research questionnaire sent out. Of course, none of this would have been possible if we didn't have partners, and I just also want to thank the partners. You'll see their names flashing all through the morning. So our gold partners is Mayford, Servest, Steel, Evergreen, Turf, Just Trees, and Hunter. Our silver partner is Turf Tech, and the bronze partners, FSG, Prime Trees, Chala, Plant Brokers, and Live Green Group. We really want to thank these partners because they help us to do the job that we plan to do. Thank you for your time. If you want any more information, you can have a look on SAGIC website, which is www.sagic.co.za.
Thank you, Anna Marie. Much food for thought, and certainly opportunities for greater cooperation within the green industry abound. Ladies and gentlemen, the beloved Cambridge friend of British poet Alfred Lord Tennyson, Arthur Henry Hallam, died of a cerebral hemorrhage at the age of just 22. And Lord Tennyson wrote the poem In Memoriam as a requiem to his friend with the famous line, "It is better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all." This poem was the inspiration for our annual In Memoriam tribute to our fallen heroes. Please join us in the solemn moment as we celebrate the lives of these wonderful personalities who have left us during the past year. Ladies and gentlemen, we get to the business end of this convention. I've always been fascinated by leaders, business leaders, orchestral leaders, and even military leaders, and especially how we can seek to improve our own performance by emulating their successful traits. Our keynote speaker today was promoted to CEO of Mccarthy Holding Company, Mccaarthy Retail, in 1999, and he played a pivotal role in turning the group around after it was declared insolvent in 2001. It will be fascinating to hear more about this. Brand Pretorius attained his Mcom degree in business economics at the University of Free State in 1972 and started his career at Toyota South Africa in March 73. Following a number of management positions, he was appointed Managing Director of Toyota SA Marketing in 1988. Under his leadership, Toyota became the market leader in both market share and customer satisfaction. In March 95, he joined the largest motor retail group in the country, Mccarthy Holdings, as alluded to earlier. And he retired CEO of Mccarthy and an executive director of his controlling shareholder, Bidvest, in March 2011. Brand currently serves as a non-executive director on the boards of a number of companies. He received numerous national motor industry leadership and marketing awards during his business career spanning 48 years. He holds 3 honorary professorships and 2 honorary doctorate degrees in marketing and leadership from leading South African universities. Brand is involved in a number of initiatives aimed at improving the quality of education in South Africa. In this regard, he serves on the Board of Trustees of the READ, that's READ, Educational Trust, and he's also the National Chairman of the Organizing Committee of the acclaimed literacy program Rally to Read, which he founded in 1998. He published his book entitled In the Driving Seat, Lessons in Leadership in February 2013. It has been reprinted 9 times and became one of the most popular local business biographies of all time, with sales of more than 23,000 copies. Brand is married to Tilly, and they have 3 sons and 7 grandchildren. Now, just before I hand over to Brand, I wanted to highlight the procedure for questions. And this is a very cool feature of online events. You don't have to wait for the end to put up your hand or feel unsure that others may think it's a silly question. This questions today will only be available on YouTube. All you do is post your questions online as a comment at any time during Brand's talk. It's that easy. Ask away. We will collate them and discuss with Brand when he finishes. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to present Brand Pretorius.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you for those warm words of welcome. And may I also thank Honorary and Nora for this privilege to address your conference today. I did ask Paul to please keep the introduction short. And Paul, I now want to explain to you why I made such a special plea. Many years ago, I had the honor of addressing a group of farmers, Bonsmara cattle farmers, and their conference took place in the thriving metropolis of Bothaville. And I don't know how it happened, but the master of ceremonies or the program director, as they tend to be called these days, the program director got hold of the unabridged version of my CV. And to my absolute horror, he started reading the whole thing. And I sat there and I became increasingly more embarrassed, but he went on and on. Fortunately, when he got to page 3, a farmer who sat in the second row intervened. He put up his hand, he stood up. He spoke in Afrikaans, but I will give you the English version. He said to the program director, for heaven's sake, we don't want to breed with Brand, we just want to listen to him. And Paul, that is the reason why I asked you to keep my introduction short. Paul has asked me to talk about a complicated but very important subject, and that is how to ensure sustainable business success in difficult and ever-changing times. Paul's also asked me to talk about behavioral changes that one should consider in order to make one's business more future-proof. Am I equipped to deal with such a challenging and such a multifaceted topic? As Paul alluded to, I've been in business for 48 years. The 22 years I spent at Toyota, I enjoyed. Everything kept going right. And I learned a little bit from success. And then I joined the McCarthy group, once again, as Paul alluded to, because I wanted to learn more about the retail side of the motor industry. When I joined McCarthy, it was a blue chip company. It was a diversified retailer, and I headed up the McCarthy Motor Group. Unfortunately, towards the end of the 90s, things went horribly wrong. on the non-motor side of Mccarthy, and the blue chip company became a slop chip company. At the end of the 90s and the early 2000s, Mccarthy was in desperate financial trouble. And it was at that time that the board of the Mccarthy Group requested me to take over as chief executive of the group. The situation was dire. Mccarthy had about 10,000 employees. Its share price had plummeted from 21 Rand to only 18 cents. We owed 8 banks 1.5 billion Rand. The 3 years it took to turn the company around were very, very tough. I learned a lot about myself. I think it's Albert Einstein who said, adversity introduces man to himself. I learned about my faith. I learned about business. I learned about management. I learned about leadership. So what I'm going to share with you today, I didn't read about in a book. As Paul told you, I wrote a book about it. I'm going to share with you in humility, but with conviction, what I experienced and what I learned, but more than that, I'm going to share with you what I believe in and what I stand for. And it's my hope and my prayer that you will find something of value in my discussion with you, something that you can implement tomorrow in your own businesses in order to make your businesses better and more future-proof. Before I touch on guidelines for sustainable success, just a few comments about the macro environment. The South African macro environment used to be described as the VUGA environment, volatile, unpredictable, complex, ambiguous. And then the so-called black swan event happened, COVID-19. And now we have to deal with a macro environment that can be described as VUGA on steroids. The economy took an enormous knock. GDP contracted by more than 7%. More than 3 million jobs were shed. People tend to liken the impact of COVID-19 to the Great Depression or World War II. Fortunately, we are seeing signs of a recovery. Some experts say the recovery is going to be U-shaped. Nobody is quite certain. It can even become W-shaped. But yes, thanks to the mining sector that is thriving because of high commodity prices, thanks to agriculture where exports have accelerated, thanks to a bigger investment in infrastructure, the economy should attain growth this year of close to 4%. I know, and Paul alluded to you, that many of the members listening to this talk here today experience firsthand the benefits of what is called the homebody economy. People working from home and investing in their homes and in their gardens. The key question you have, I'm certain, is how sustainable is it? And my view is that post-COVID we will end up with a hybrid situation. Some people will still work from home. Perhaps the pent-up demand which boosted your turnovers will be gone, but there should still be a healthy demand. But the world is unpredictable, so I don't want to forecast a sustained upswing. What I want to say is that the economic cycle will go up and down, but not necessarily in that sequence. The other major development which has affected our macro environment is the so-called Fourth Industrial Revolution, or the technology tsunami. Because of COVID-19, people have learned to live and work digitally. Consumer behavior has been impacted in a very significant manner. Consumer behavior will never be the same again. In front of our eyes, we are seeing the merging of the biological, the physical, and the digital worlds. We see the impact of the Internet of Everything, and social media, and artificial intelligence. We know that we have to adapt or die. This is the new normal. Many businesses are using the impact of COVID-19 as a catalyst for change. Many businesses are creating a much stronger platform for a sustainable future. But let me give some conclusions based on the picture I've painted of what has happened in the economy and what is happening because of the impact of technology. The first statement I want to make is that nobody can predict the future because certainty is in short supply. We know that the future is not going to be an extension of the past. We are sure that yesterday's success won't guarantee tomorrow's profits. Things have never changed more frequently, more significantly, more dramatically than what the case is today. We are living in an era where disruption will happen exponentially. So, what is then our challenge? I can summarize the challenge by saying that we need to transform our businesses in order to fit into this new world, and simultaneously our businesses have to perform at maximum levels of efficiency because business has never been more competitive. Customers have never been more demanding. Our customers are all digitally armed with unlimited access to the internet and social media, and they want it all. To perform and transform simultaneously is a very difficult task. And this is not a temporary thing. This is not a storm that is going to blow over. We have to learn to dance in the rain. Let me then get to guidelines for sustainable success. But once again, before we talk about those guidelines, future business leaders who want their businesses to flourish in this VUCA on steroids environment, they need to have some specific attributes. The first attribute, if you want to future-proof your business, is you need to be adaptable. You cannot afford to have a lager mentality. Change is the price of survival. If you don't like change, you will like irrelevance even less. The Americans have such a nice saying. They say, if you don't make dust, then you will eat dust. And I'm sure that none of you would like to eat dust. The second attribute you need to have in order to future-proof your business is you need to be creative, because you can't use old solutions to try and solve new problems that might be unique to the digital era. You have to be creative and out-innovate your competitors. Next attribute you need is moral intelligence. Your moral intelligence informs your conscience. Your conscience tells you what is right and what is wrong. There's only one way to ensure sustainable future success, and that is to do business in a moral and ethical manner. Don't talk about commercial pragmatism. Don't compromise ethical standards. Make sure that you do your business in an honest and ethical manner. Tap into your moral intelligence all the time. Next attribute you need is a high level of emotional intelligence, because the likelihood that we are going to continue to work under extreme pressure is 100%. Our emotional intelligence helps us to manage and understand and control our own emotions, to deal with our strengths and weaknesses in the right manner. Our EQ helps us to find the correct balance between feeling and thinking. Don't be emotionally illiterate. Deal with pressure in a mature manner. In order to be successful, we need another attribute, namely relational intelligence, because we know that sound relations make the world go round. Sound relations with everybody will create a platform for us for future success. I think it's Mayo Angelou who said, people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Relational intelligence is a key and a very necessary attribute. Next attribute, we need self-discipline. That implies that we will do whatever we have to do, when we need to do it, whether we feel like it or not. And the last attribute we need in these tough times and ever-changing times is perseverance. In my opinion, perseverance is the ultimate talent. I want to share with you just one example to illustrate that perseverance pays. When Mccarthy was technically insolvent, we had to negotiate with our 8 banks a debt standstill or a debt restructuring agreement. It was a complicated but a critical task. It was the only way to save the Mccarthy Group. The banks had to agree to restructure our debt. On the 13th of August 2001, for the first time ever, we got all the credit managers of the 8 banks we owed 1.5 billion rand to, together in the same boardroom, and they all had their legal representatives with them. The meeting started at 9 a.m. in Investec's boardroom at their head office in Catherine Street in Sandton. Umpteen times during the course of that day, credit managers and legal representatives jumped up and stormed out, and who ran behind them and grabbed them by the arm and pleaded with them to come back? I did. Why did I do it? Because in my mind's eye, I saw the faces of my people at McCarthy Motor Holdings who would have been innocent victims of the bankruptcy of the McCarthy Group. We persevered. Eventually it was 5 o'clock in the afternoon, 7 o'clock in the evening, 9 o'clock in the evening. We were still there with our bankers and their legal representatives. We didn't want to give up. At 2 o'clock, the morning of the 14th of August 2001, the debt restructuring agreement that saved thousands of jobs was signed. Perseverance pays. If we want to future-proof our business, we need some critical skills. The first skill is the skill of self-management. What do we do to optimize our own productivity? How do we plan? How do we coordinate? How do we organize, and how do we control our own activities to ensure that we invest our time in the important things and not necessarily in the urgent things? I caught myself out many a time, suffering from the sickness of busyness, just spinning my wheels, arriving home at night exhausted, but with little to show. Then I started applying focus and discipline. Then I started working on things that will make tomorrow better than today. I made sure that my activity translated into productivity, and productivity into accomplishment. The art and the science of self-management is a critical success factor. Second skill that we need in this new world is the skill of effective communication. How to give information meaning, how to influence, how to persuade, how to inspire, and how to motivate. Our ability to communicate will determine to a large degree our own personal brand and our leadership effectiveness. A critical communication skill is to listen with empathy and attention. And obviously, if we don't have any credibility, our communication will come to nothing. So we need to earn the trust of all our stakeholders. Let me then get to guidelines for sustainable success. Whether we talk about your business or my business, I think these guidelines are universally applicable. First guideline is always retain a positive and a clear and an ambitious vision. A positive vision in South Africa is essential. We need to remain hopeful. We can't afford to be afraid of the future. We need to give the future a firm handshake. And our vision has to be ambitious. Steve Jobs, who founded Apple, when he got his team together for the first time, he gave them his vision for Apple. His vision was the following. He said, we are going to make a dent in the universe. So I'm asking, what is your vision for your business, your dream? Is it ambitious enough? Michelangelo said the greatest danger for most of us is not that we aim too high and miss it. The greatest danger for most of us is that we aim too low and achieve it. Second guideline for sustainable success is we need to do business in line with the right principles and values. We need to anchor our behavior and our decisions in those timeless principles like consistency, integrity, fairness, patience, gentleness, acceptance, humanity. We need to behave in line with the right values, values like openness, honesty, sincerity, the value of respect for all people, the value of teamwork, the value of the acceptance of responsibility, the value of excellence in everything we do, the value of putting our customers first. Many years ago, my boss at Toyota said to me, Brand, it was on a Friday that we had this discussion, take a few hours over the weekend and put pen to paper and list on a piece of paper the principles and values you believe in and stand for. And sign that piece of paper and keep it with you, your own personal code of conduct. Fortunately, I listened. It still remains my most valuable document to this day. So make sure that you behave in line with the right principles and values. Third guideline, earn the trust of all your stakeholders. Trust is a key differentiator. Trust trumps everything. How does one earn trust, whether we talk about suppliers or customers or staff or communities? One earns trust by behaving with integrity, by being competent, and by being caring. Should there be no trust, your business will go bust. Next guideline for success is we have to accelerate empowerment and transformation. I know it's a very contentious subject, but the reality is that we had a political dispensation that discriminated in the most severe manner possible against people of color in South Africa. As a result, we have a country with the most unequal distribution of wealth in the world. in our own way, in an orderly way, and in a fair way, and without crucifying the principle of merit, we must also do what we can to integrate black South Africans into the mainstream economy and to, over time, bring about a more reasonable, a more equitable distribution of wealth. Empowerment and transformation remain a moral, a strategic, and a business imperative. Next guideline, we must behave in a socially responsible manner. We can't hide behind the walls of our businesses and ignore all the needs out there in our wonderful country. Through our corporate caring, we should make our country a better place. We should reach out, do more. Doing good is good business. The time is always right to do what is right. Paul referred to the Rally to Read program that I founded in 1998. It's a literacy program. It makes an enormous difference. It's been perhaps one of the most rewarding things that I've ever done in my life. What do we need to be the best at if we want to thrive in this new world? We need to be the best at when it comes to developing an appropriate strategy that will ensure that our businesses become future-proof. The temptation is very strong during these volatile and unpredictable times to adopt a fatalistic approach, to say, I'm just hoping for the best. I'm appealing to all of you to zoom out, take a helicopter view of your businesses, and then reposition your businesses for the future, making sure that your businesses remain relevant and competitive and viable. We cannot stop devising and implementing strategy. Second thing we have to be the best at is knowledge. Knowledge of our business sector, knowledge of the economy, knowledge of our products, knowledge of our services. So we have to observe, learn, study, discuss to keep our knowledge toolbox up to date. Henry Ford said, knowledge is real wealth that nobody can take away from you. One of the world's richest people, Warren Buffett, said, one of my personal objectives is to ensure that when I go to bed at night, I can say with conviction that I'm going to bed with a little more practical, valuable, and useful knowledge than what I had when I woke up. It's so important. Mahatma Gandhi, I'm going to use a Mahatma Gandhi quote to illustrate the importance of knowledge. Mahatma Gandhi said, live as if today is your last day, and learn as if you're going to live forever. Next thing that we need to be the best in, we need to be the best when it comes to the quality of our human capital. Employ the very best people you can find. Don't settle for second best. Make a disproportionate investment in the development of your people. They will make the difference. Be the best when it comes to marketing. Promote your brand. Become an expert at digital marketing. Create quality relationships with your customers, relationships that will be characterized by the words of high trust, high respect, and high love. And become the best when it comes to selling. Nothing happens until somebody sells something. Be the best when it comes to financial management. Be conservative. Watch cash flow like a hawk. When Mccarthy was insolvent, for a 3-year period, every day except Sundays, at 6:30 every morning, the financial director, Eugene Roden, and I had a look at the cash flow forecast. Some months we had to sell businesses in order to meet our payroll obligations. Manage your businesses conservatively from a financial point of view. Be the best when it comes to the mobilization of information technology and the internet and social media. Ignore social media at your peril, because that is where the customers are. In this new era, customers engage differently. Customers transact differently. Customers communicate differently. Adapt to the digital era. Be the best when it comes to not only customer satisfaction, but customer fulfillment. Every staff member should exist for their customers. Every staff member should behave as if you were on the verge of losing your last customer. Impress your customers, surprise them, and delight them. To just satisfy customers in this competitive world is not good enough anymore. You have to impress and delight them. Lastly, if we want to thrive in future, we need to be the best when it comes to leadership. Everything rises and falls on leadership. I tend to liken leadership to electricity. I say, where there's poor leadership, people, figuratively speaking, spend their days in darkness, without direction, without hope, with a low level of engagement, and they deliver poor results. But when there's quality leadership, the exact opposite is true. And people have direction, and they have hope, and they are fully engaged, and they do their best. Years ago, I visited a guy called John Hughes. He's one of the top independent motor dealers in Australia. And we did branch visits that day, and everywhere we went, I just saw evidence of motivated, fully engaged people. I saw bright eyes and broad smiles, and that evening I said to John, "John, you are an outstanding leader. What is your leadership philosophy?" And John said, "I am the light switch in the morning. When I walk into my business, I look my people in the eye. I'm interested in them. I involve them. I empower them. I trust them, I coach them, I teach them, I care about them, I serve them. He said, Brand, to cut a long story short, I just love my people. I'm asking you, be deliberate in your efforts to be the light switch every morning. Let me then conclude. I dealt with the macro environment, the VUGA environment. I dealt with the challenge we are facing to perform and transform simultaneously. I dealt with the challenge that we need to learn to dance in the rain. I shared with you some attributes and skills we require in order to future-proof our success. I shared with you attributes and skills and guidelines. Can I summarize an integrated approach that will ensure sustainable success? We need to always do the right things when it comes to strategy and principles and values. And then we need to do the right things right when it comes to effective execution. And when it comes to leadership, we should lead and not mislead. We should suppress our egos and build our characters. We must care about our people and we must be prepared to serve them. As leaders, we must prize truth and respect and results and service above power and authority and self-importance and self-enrichment. We should stand for the truth, for the affirmation of the good. Through our example, we should inspire our people to dream more, to learn more, to do more, and to become more. Yes, we should dream with ambition, and we should lead with conviction. I want to wish each and every one of you sustainable success into the future. Thank you.
Wow, Brand, that was absolutely awesome. What an encompassing discussion on leadership. It's fascinating. We have a couple of questions for you, if you don't mind, if you're not in too much of a hurry. I have a question in here from on WhatsApp from Fred, and he was saying that you emphasize gentleness several times. And so what about discipline, and how did you get performance from your management and staff?
Fred, that is an excellent question. So what I have learned over the years is that people respond better to love than to fear. I said to my people at Mccaarthy and at Toyota often, before you can ask for a hand, you need to touch a heart. So I'm in favor of servant leadership, but not at the expense of results. I say, you can be hard-headed when it comes to results, but you can have a gentle heart when it comes to people. You can be rigorous when it comes to results, but not ruthless when it comes to people. You can be firm but fair and kind but not weak. If you lead by example and you deliver the results, then your people will follow in your footsteps. And discipline should be part of the culture. I refer to the values that one should stand for and believe in. And yes, discipline is a very important value. But there's no need, in my opinion, to be a bully in order to get results out of people. If you are a bully, if you're an autocrat, if you're an oppressor, a tyrant of a boss, you will only get reluctant compliance, but no real commitment. The outcome of effective leadership is that you get people to believe in the same vision, to behave in line with the right values, and you get people to volunteer their intelligence and their energy and their loyalty and their contribution. So, to care about people and to serve them is not at the expense of results. It inspires commitment. It leads to a higher level of productivity and performance and results, in my experience.
I enjoyed that response enormously. Fred, there you have it. You have it, chapter and verse. We have another question online, and this is from Warwick. And it goes, are you happy with the way Toyota is currently being managed?
Warwick, that's a trick question. So what I can say is that I am extremely proud of what Toyota has achieved and what Toyota is still achieving. 40 years of market leadership. And if you take the top-selling model in South Africa, the Toyota Hilux, so yes, Toyota still leads the way. And I will be forever grateful for what I learned from Toyota, the principles, the values, the Toyota way. And I have every confidence that Toyota, due to the manner in which they conduct business, the manner in which they look after their customers, that Toyota will continue to be the market leader for many years into the future.
Awesome response. I almost feel like singing. Everything keeps going right, Toyota. Well, that's your bit of opera for today, ladies and gentlemen. There's one more question, Brand. It's a softer question, I think. Good morning from Bianca. How do you balance the demand from customers with your resources?
Yeah, Bianca, I think it's a very, very good question. What I can say is that customers respond favorably when they sense a commitment to their satisfaction. Customers respond favorably to many things that needn't cost any money. Should they see that core values are commitment, care, and action, they will repay you in a very generous manner. At Mccaarthy, we had the same problem. Motor dealers have very thin margins, and customers have very high expectations. We ran a program once, it was called the Trivial Touches of Excellence program. And our businesses implemented steps that would impress customers but wouldn't cost money. For example, when you went to a Mccaarthy dealership, when you took your car in for a service, the position of your driver's seat was marked. The workshop and the wash bay staff knew they weren't allowed to touch radio controls, air conditioner controls, side mirrors, center mirrors. So when you came back in the afternoon to collect your car, you didn't need to sit like a praying mantis listening to Radio Metro full blast. A trivial touch of excellence. Our car hire company in Bloemfontein, in winter time, if you arrived in Bloem at 7 o'clock in the morning, 5 minutes before you were due to arrive, they would switch on your car, let it idle, get the inside temperature up to 22 degrees. A trivial touch of excellence. Didn't cost money because of limited resources, but made a profound impression on customers.
Brand, your response to questions are so thought out and detailed. It's wonderful to hear that response. And I'm going to make a point of making sure my car company doesn't touch my seat position when I next take it in for service. What a wonderful touch. Brand, thank you very much for joining us today. What an inspiration. You're a legend, and just listening to you has inspired and energized me. Our grateful thanks and much luck with your educational and literacy initiatives. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the morning session. Thank you so much, Brand. We really hope you enjoyed it, ladies and gentlemen. We now will break away to separate AGM meetings. It's just on 11, so I think Sana will start at about 11:15, and Sali, I think, is at 12. That's on Zoom, and we'll see you back here on the same YouTube and Facebook Live links for the spectacular award ceremony, which will begin at 2 o'clock, perhaps slightly after if there's load shedding, which includes a guest appearance by South Africa's favorite comedian, Skalk Besaidenout. We'll see you back here at 2 o'clock.